Want to welcome everybody. I'm yours truly, Diva Lyri. Y'all have heard the news already. Christy Sides has been fired. Now, you all know that I've been saying this, and I did a session. This is another one of our sessions that actually didn't get recorded. I think it's on the live somewhere, I don't know. But it didn't go out like we had expected it to. Well, first of all, I had already talked about the fact that they were cleaning house and the roaches in the WNBA. And the fact that this was a clear notice to me that the Fever at least were starting to clean up house, and that when they hired the COO, that now it would be a situation where it's like, okay, you know that they're going to have to replace the coach. Let me rephrase that. The vast majority of the cases when they're coming in, they're putting a new CEO or COO. That means everything from the top down get ready to get cleaned up. All right. So of course it was the COO win, and then I did a session talking about the general manager that they brought in, and we're going to go into that. And I said they have to get rid of Christy Sides. I did another session called Caitlin Clark Clean Underwear or Dirty Underwear After You Take a Shower or something like that. And basically what I was saying is that when you bring in a COO and a general manager, you are really like taking a bath, all right? And so if you're gonna bathe, when you get out, you're gonna put on clean underwear, all right? You're not gonna get out the shower after you just took this whole bath and then put the same underwear back on, no. And I'm saying Christy Sides is like the underwear, whether you wanna call them clean or not. If we've come in here and we've cleansed our body, which is the body of the organization, well, the underwear is the person who's the coach, who's right there facilitating everything. You're going to change that too. And so not doing that would be like putting on some dirty underwear after you took a shower. Okay, so I knew that at the time was going to come. I already saw it. I saw it before they changed the COO. And I did, in one of the sessions I said, y'all know that movie Avatar, where Jake was praying to the tree of souls, and Natiri came in there. She said, well, she doesn't take sides. And while they were in battle, they saw all the animals start to react and help them, join on their side. Well, she said, AY has heard you. And that's what I'm saying to you. AY has heard you. And I give credit to, in particular, the YouTubers with their channels and giving the people the opportunity to voice what they're thinking, what their thoughts are. So congratulations, YouTubers. Congratulations, fans, because it's the YouTubers which really brought a way for your voice to be heard, because the media was not listening. All right. As a matter of fact, the media clearly had their own agenda. We're going to talk about that tonight too, because really it's like a lot of people, even some of the YouTubers, have an agenda, but we're going to talk about that. So let's get into this. The old guard versus the new guard. All right. So we've got an old guard, Allison Barber, Lynn Dunn, Christy Sides. Okay. And one of the things that I spoke about is that once they got rid of Allison Barber and brought in Kelly Krauskopf, I knew that we were going to have another coach, because once you start up there, once again at the top, you're going to clean house. So then everybody was thinking, no, well, Lynn Dunn's not going anywhere. Well, next thing you know, Lynn Dunn gets moved to senior assistant or senior consultant, and they bring in Amber Cox. Now, Kelly Krauskopf used to work for actually the Pacers, and before that she did work for the Fever, Indiana Fever. Now she's coming back. And then Amber Cox was working for another, and I don't want to say who she was working for because I do have this and I don't want to make a mistake. All right. Now we were waiting on Christy Sides to be fired, and today she was let go. And now the question is, who's coming in? Who's going to replace her? I want to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to move into another topic. All right. So who's going to replace Christy Sides? Let's go into a couple of names that have come up. All right. I want to go into this first gentleman. His name, And I always look at this picture, and this guy looks like the director for a symphony orchestra. But I'm going to read a little bit about what they say, his pedigree, where he's coming from. I've been all over the place trying to get this stuff together. But this is Curt Miller. And this is one of the names that have come up as far as a possible replacement. He was at Bowling Green. He was at Indiana University. He was with the Connecticut Suns, the Los Angeles Sparks. He returned to be the head coach he was announced the head coach of Connecticut Sun in 2015. Then he got coach of the year in 2017 when he was with the Sun. He went to the Washington Mystics. They went to a semifinal in 2020, and he stayed with them until 2022, where they made the WNBA finals. So he is one of the people whose names you hear, all right? So that's Curt Miller. Then you have my favorite, Lisa Bluder. Now, everybody is saying that Lisa Bluder won't come out of retirement in order to coach this team. I would love to see her coach the team. All right, so your number one runner name that you hear that is possible to be the new coach is this lady, all right? And let's talk about Miss White. A lot of people know Miss White she was actually with the Connecticut Sun last season. A lot of people, what the pros and the cons are from my side, what I see. So you got Stephanie White, you got Curt Miller, you got Lisa Bluder. And I want to tell you my pros and cons for each of them. Now, as I was telling you, Stephanie White, she went on leave from the Connecticut Sun due to a family issue, according to press, according to the word on the street, if you will. She left the Connecticut Sun for a leave because she had a family emergency. Now, she was the Connecticut Sun last season, once again, where they went into the playoffs. Second round, they lost in the second round. She was the head coach of the Indiana Fever from 2015 to 2016. Actually, they had a winning season during the time that Stephanie was with them. So, but it is clear that there has been talks with Stephanie White. And so the question is, are they going to choose Stephanie White? Or everybody's thinking that this is the main one that they're going to choose. Now, I want to go back to Lisa Bluder because people are not thinking that she would be likely chosen now. And that's partly because she's not wanting to come out of retirement. And let's say this because Lisa Bluder actually did, according to, again, the word on the street. There was an interview with her. It was a secret interview that she had with the owner of the Fever, the Indiana Fever. So we don't know what has happened from that because right now the word is, okay, Stephanie White is the head person. And now I just hear the name Curt being thrown out there. You'll hear names like Cheryl Miller. You hear names like Larry Bird. And I like both of them. For me, if they were coming on, I'd rather them be more of ambassadors than coaches because, listen, if you're bringing somebody in here, you want somebody who really knows what's going on and how to coach this team. You don't just want somebody here just because, okay, we're going to sell a lot. You already got that. Caitlin Clark is already selling. So you don't really need to bring somebody in just because, hey, we want to sell some tickets. No, you really want a serious coach, somebody who really knows what's going on. Now, I want to talk about, for me, the difference between Bluder and White and Curt. Okay, here's my deal. What I like about, first of all, Curt, I don't have a lot of insight on. I don't know his coaching style. In here, when I was reading his profile, it said that he was the first openly gay coach in the NBA or something to that, male coach. And I'm really wondering why they would even make mention of that. But it stuck out to me because I'm going to tell you there's a how do you say, a culture in the WNBA. And, you know, you hear that whole eligibility, I'm going to say LGBT, you hear that a lot concerning the WNBA. And for me, that's part of this culture where, you know, these gay, black, y'all know how I feel about that term black, they're in this culture, and it has caused issues with respect to Clark because she's not gay or because she's not melanated. It's caused issues. So for me, Kurt would not be my first choice. I'm telling you about Diva Lyri's choice. It wouldn't be Kurt, all right? For me, also, when we're looking at Stephanie White, she is a proven coach, whereby she's been winning with the Suns. She was here, as a matter of fact, with the Fever. She actually wore number 22 when she played. She was a coach as well as a player. When she played, she wore number 22. And when she coached, the team saw the playoffs. So she's a proven coach. And so for that reason, I would love to see her as a coach. But at the same time, she's also a part of the organization. I don't know if she's a part of that team that's coming down on Caitlin. I don't know. But I'm going to point this out too as I go along about some things that I have seen and the culture that has developed. And I'm hoping she's not a part of it, because if not, then she's going to come in and she's going to be worse than Christy. And I'm going to tell you why. All right? We're going to get into that later. But one of the things about her, I don't know if she's a part of that culture where it's, you know, put Caitlin Clark down or rewrite history so that we don't mention her name ever. And I don't even know why they're doing that. But I see the culture, and I'm going to speak on that so that we understand what I'm meaning when I'm talking about Stephanie White and what she's going to do when she comes in here. Now, speaking of Lisa Bluder, my thing about Lisa is this. Lisa is coming from the college ranks. She's not necessarily, at least not that we can see, a part of the culture. Well, Dawn Staley is, and she's in the college ranks. She's in the culture. And you're going to understand what I mean. Just stay tuned. But Lisa Bluder, at the very least, she likes Caitlin Clark. She appreciates what Caitlin Clark does. She's worked with Caitlin Clark before. She's won with Caitlin Clark. Really, when we're talking about the system for the Fever, that is Caitlin Clark. And so I see, of course, we know, we already seen Lisa Bluder has won with less talent than what the Fever have now with the system of Caitlin Clark. So what I'm saying is that if it were my choice, I would definitely want Lisa Bluder. One of the things that I keep hearing everybody say is, you know, when we're talking about Miss White, we're talking about White, Stephanie White. She's better than such and such. Oh, she's a lot better than Christy Sides. And for me, it's like, okay, great, but can we get a great coach? It's like we're just recycling coaches. Can we get a great coach, a coach that we know is going to come in here and really put down the X's and O's so that we go to a championship? All this stuff Lynn Dunn was talking about, we're ahead of schedule and we expect in 3 years. What you talking about? If you get the right coach in here, I see them winning it all. I don't see that these other teams had so much more talent than what the Fever have now and can get. Now, when they got other people coming in, and everybody keeps talking about Satu Sabali. Okay, if she comes in here, then you got 5 main people. And if you get your back court or your bench set up, I don't understand why you can't be going after a championship now. See, for me, when people are talking like, well, you know, I don't see them winning and I don't see them. I mean, I wish they would be quiet. They call themselves fans. But it's like, every time you open your mouth, you're saying something negative. This is me. Because I know that when we speak, we manifest what we're wanting, all right? I'm saying that they can even go as far as they need to go if they get the right coach. So instead of recycling a coach, and I'm not saying Stephanie's not good or Stephanie can't do it. I'm pretty sure if she comes in, she's going to take them at least to the second round. I see that. All right. So right now, where we are is we're talking about the three coaches, the three main coaches that you hear that are likely. All right. The least likely would be Kurt Miller. Second least likely is Lisa Bluder, who is my favorite. And then the main one that everyone is talking about is Stephanie White, who's coming from the Connecticut Sun. So for me, again, if she's able to come in, I know that she's going to be bringing in a championship. Well, maybe not a championship, but definitely, definitely I see a second round in the playoffs. That's what I see. All right. So with all of that being said, they have cleaned house. I'm glad that they have cleaned house. They've removed Christy Sides, which is what all of the fans were asking for. And let me say this. When I woke up and I saw that message, honestly, I was clapping. I was happy. I cheered. I feel a little bit bad for Christy Sides. I know it must have hurt. I know that it was nerve-wracking when the word came out that the Fever were actually interviewing Stephanie, all right, for the job of head coach. I know that had to be nerve-wracking. I know it had to be hurtful. We don't wish bad or negative here on anybody, but I can't lie when I say I was cheering, I was happy, I was clapping, because I'm happy that she's gone. I'm telling you, last season, 2024, when they were playing, I remember this was before the break. I hadn't watched a whole lot of Fever games, but I started watching them, and I remember thinking, because before I started watching, I kept hearing about Sides and Sides and Sides, and I didn't really know who she was. I just was watching the highlights, and I was seeing Caitlin Clark play, and it got me wanting to watch the game. And then when I started watching the game, and I started seeing how Christy Sides was coaching, I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to watch anymore until she gets fired. I just didn't want to watch because it was really very frustrating to watch somebody who was so talented be wasted under somebody who really doesn't know how to coach. So I remember after the break, they really started to go on this tear. And so I did start to watch, but it was very frustrating. It was very frustrating. And then, of course, for me, once the Fever were eliminated, that was the end of my season. I was done. So, and I remember I had said this on one of my videos. I was like, well, the season is over. And somebody was like, the season is over, but they still playing. Pardon me. Forgive me. The season is over for me because I'm not watching if Clark is not there, because I'm here to watch Clark. And we're going to get into that topic as well. All right. But I wanted to get in on that. I wanted to weigh in on the firing of Christy Sides. I hope Christy Sides goes on to become a champion coach, with another team, and she gets to run the type of offense that she wants to run. I wish her much success. But right now, I'm glad to see Clark is about to get another coach. I hope it is a great coach and not just the best that's out there. There's a difference. There's a difference. To say, this is a great coach that's coming in, and we trust that they know the X's and O's and they know how to win. That's one thing. But then what they're saying is, well, of all the coaches that's left, she's the best. Okay. I hope she comes. And because of that whole nostalgic thing where she used to play with Fever, she used to coach for the Fever. Then you got Kelly Krauskopf, who used to be the manager of the Fever in years past, and she came from the Pacers as well. So these are people who are of the league. They know the league. They feel comfortable with the league. And so I hope that they come in and they just do a wonderful job this season, because I'm going to be watching, or next season, 2025, I'm going to be watching. And again, I'm excited because there's new blood coming in. Fresh, new team, they're not even new really. They're a winning team. They are proven coaches, proven GM, proven manager, COO. So good. I hope to see them I expect greatness next season, because I'm going to be watching.